I feel like the golden question is, okay, but if I don't need anything, how do I still be in the frequency of wanting something?
This whole manifestation thing is actually about you being open to life. It's actually not about creating an idea of the future that you have in your mind.
Yeah.
So what do we actually mean by this?
I do have a question that I wanted to ask you. A lot of the time when they hear they're like, I don't need this, they go into their actual needs. Like, but I need the money. What about, like, I need food to survive. I need water to survive.
The way that I see it is that...
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Consciously Thriving podcast.
Hello. We just literally got into such an intense debate conversation. Not even a debate. We were agreeing with each other.
We were agreeing with each other.
Yeah, that was not a debate. We got into a conversation about like pronunciation.
Yeah.
And I was laughing about like, because, you know, with our like jobs, we connect with people all over the world. And there have been some times where like I've pronounced people's like names and then they've told me off for how I've pronounced the name. But I've realized like upon reflection, I'm like, oh, it's my Australian accent.
It's your accent, yeah.
It's my accent that's actually like fucking it up.
Yeah, like when it's actually hard to pronounce.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's just like the way that I say it.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, I'm not actually butchering the name. Yeah. And then Nadia tells me that she, like, we were talking about the difference between like the two names, Alan and Alan. I don't know.
One with an E, one with an A.
Yeah, and apparently there's like a difference.
If your name's Alan...
Which one?
Yeah, which one? With an Alan with an E or Alan with an A, like maybe you've had that come across this, please explain to me the difference, because I cannot, like, because there is a difference. Like one is spelt with an E and one's spelt with an A.
Yeah.
So it's like there is a difference, but I cannot.
Yeah, like so
the only reason, like there may not be a difference, like someone called Alan might be like, there's no difference, but I've been told off for the way I pronounce Alan.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not, that person's name wasn't Ilan. It wasn't Ellen. It was, I don't know. They were just like, you're not saying it right. But they would say it back to me and I'm like, I don't understand how I'm saying it wrong.
No, we just looked it up on YouTube as well, the pronunciation between like Alan with an A and Alan with an E, Ellen with an, I don't even know how to say it. Ellen, Alan, whatever. And we were looking it up and there was like no difference.
Yeah. So I don't know what this person was on about, but if you are named Alan...
I can't hear
it. Like, please let me know, because there could be like a difference that I'm just not, my accent just can't pick up.
Yeah.
It's
so funny. But like this happened in Australia for you. So
yeah, in Australia. It's Australian.
Yeah. That's weird, dude. I can't hear the difference, but I don't know. Maybe we need to be educated.
Yeah.
I can't hear it.
Well, it's hard because we have all like names all over the world that are pronounced differently.
So differently, yeah. I've just never cared about that. I feel like because I have such a unique name, I've been so used to it, like throughout my entire life. Yeah, people call me the funniest things, and I will go along with it because I think it's like I'm just like whatever. I don't care. Like it doesn't offend me. So like people will call me the funniest names, and then like we'll be an acquaintance, and then they'll be calling me this for a while, and they're like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you tell me?" And I'm just like, I just genuinely don't care. Like I just respond to everything. Shule was a big one.
Yeah, but maybe I would say something.
Really?
Not in a rude way, but just so they know my name. Do you know what I mean?
I don't care though.
No, I don't care, but just for them, so they don't go months with calling you your name wrong.
Oh, I feel like
I swear it's coming from a place of like, who cares? Like I'm not offended by it or whatever, but just so I don't want to.
I guess like I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
You've had experiences where people. Yeah, no, 100%. If like someone was calling me like Nadia or whatever, I wouldn't tell them from a place of like, how dare you or whatever, but just so that they don't go like 6, 7.
But I'm like, how do you do that in a way that doesn't sound
just
like?
Just say, hey, like this is actually how you pronounce my name.
Oh my god, it's so awkward. I can't do it.
No, I get it. But like, if it was a friend of mine, I'm not going to make them go 6, 12 months.
These aren't like actual friends. Like, these have been clients or like, do you know what I mean?
Then that's okay. Or maybe a client if they were like a long term.
Yeah, I haven't even done it with clients. I've actually been with some clients that I've like not even corrected them, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they've been in like we've been in a masterclass, and then somebody's like, "You've pronounced my name right" or something.
It depends how intimate we got. Like if it's an acquaintance or someone that I like who cares? Yeah, like honestly, who cares about?
Because I did a lot of podcast interviews as well, like with people, so it's like we were just interacting for that.
That's okay. I feel like that's fair enough that you didn't. I feel like if it was like a close friend of mine that we were getting closer,
that's
just
different.
For them to
that's
know,
different.
And like a long term client.
Yeah, no,
just for them, you know.
Yeah. Well, in my head, I'm like, they're gonna figure it out anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they'll hear it in the end.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm like, they're gonna find out how to say my name throughout it. But I don't know. It's just like, it's not even that I do it consciously. It's just that like I don't even Jerry when somebody is even telling me that they like when they're even pronouncing my name wrong, like nothing even goes off in my brain of like, oh, my name's
you
wrong.
just experienced it so
my
much.
whole life. Like,
just so we know, what is your name?
The actual pronunciation is Shule.
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 Yeah.
But I say Shule.
Yeah. So in Australia,
I don't even say Chalet, I say Shule.
You say Shules.
Shules. Yeah. Well, that's your nickname.
Yeah.
But like Shule.
Yeah. Shule. Yeah. I've gotten everything. I have
gotten
like
everything under the sun. Mine's
Melissa and Taylor?
Yeah.
Melissa calls me, they both used to call me this, but Melissa still does it, which I love. She calls me, Melissa and Taylor are family friends of mine, by the way. They call me Shule.
Shule. Love it. Love it.
Love it. Yeah. Fucking weird ass names. I used to get called Julie.
I don't get that.
Tell me.
Shule.
It was Julie. Like old Italian people. They would
maybe silent.
They would just be like, Julie? And I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
If you want me to be, I'll be Julie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never like cared about it. But yeah, the actual pronunciation is Chalet. No, Chalet in Oz. Like that's what it's become being in Australia. It's just turned into Chalet and that's what I say. But actually, like with my ethnicity, with being Turkish, it's pronounced Shule.
What's the funniest is that your name is so ethnic and then your sister is Olivia.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh. It's just so funny.
I know, because her dad's like...
her dad. That's why. Because your dad is Turkish.
My dad was Turkish.
That's why they did that.
Yeah, so like...
So do you think your
Ollie's middle name is Ella, though.
Ella.
Yeah.
But do you think your mum... Sorry, this is getting in debate. Do you think your mum... Olivia's name was influenced by... Like, didn't your stepdad, or whatever at the time... want her to have... Didn't want a Turkish name?
I don't know what they did, actually. I don't think he would have cared. Yeah, he was pretty, like, chill like that.
Because I'm like, I
don't think he would have cared. Like, if my mum had wanted her actual name to be Ella, I think she didn't do it because they had so much trouble with me. Because they had so much trouble with, like, my name growing up. Like, my mum did. So I don't think that... I think she actually wanted Olivia.
Yeah.
Something like... They call it Yabanja, which is... I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, like...
Yeah, we both don't have, like, super common names.
Nadia.
It's not super common. I feel like it's easy to pronounce and, like, it's not, like... Yeah, it's easy to pronounce. I see it sometimes, but it's not, like...
I feel like I've seen Nadia my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. But I grew up in, like, a...
ethnic... It's Middle Eastern.
Yeah, it's a
Everyone
Middle
always says to me, you
Nadine.
Arabic.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
She's
I'm
really
Spanish
not.
and Italian.
She's, like, not Arabic at all.
No.
But I grew up in, like, the Arabic communities and things like that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But that's, like, it's interesting. What a topic.
What a topic. Anyway, we always do this at the start of the episode.
It's nice.
Before we get into it. Yeah, it's so funny.
We're so, like, spiritual and, like, this whole podcast is so focused on personal development, spirituality, but, like, I love infusing out, like, who we actually are in our
dumb conversations. Like, if I can get into some of the shit we dive into, we'd get cancelled. With some of the things that we look up.
Yeah, we would.
No, would we? It's just curiosity.
No, we wouldn't say, no, it's just curiosity. Yeah. It's just questioning.
Yeah.
I think, like, when you're in the realms of, like, personal development, I feel like a lot of people that want to, like, grow and self-develop, like, you just have a natural tendency to question things.
Yeah, for sure.
Part of your personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, like, how I've always been. I'm just, like, I just don't like knowing things on a superficial level. Like,
no,
I want to, like, dive
everything
the fuck
is
in.
for us, is both of us.
It's
just
intense.
So deep for us.
Yeah, we're so annoying.
Yeah, we are.
We are so annoying.
But anyway, today...
Yeah, why don't you introduce the topic, please?
So today we wanted to actually dive into the topic of surrender.
Yeah. And we really, like, before you click away...
No one's going to click away.
This isn't going to be the conversation you expect around surrender when it comes to manifesting, because a lot of people in the manifestation community communicate, like, they talk about surrender, they teach on surrender through the energy of attachment. And we've really been practicing surrender through that lens for a while until recently, right? Where we really, like, I just feel like we've gone on such a journey with this whole, like, letting go of attachments and expectations, and
every area
of our lives, like literally every area. But it has led to true happiness, true freedom, true fulfillment, and this, like, how would you describe it? Like, the way that I would describe this relationship with the universe, it's truly, 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 and I want you to, like, feel the words that I'm saying here, because this, like, I've been calling it, like, getting my life back, because I've been practicing, you know, creation and freedom and manifesting my own reality, but it was coming from such a controlled, I think I know best energy. And I wasn't actually trusting in the way like things were presenting in my reality. And I wasn't open to all of the abundance that I actually had available because I was so fixated on creating in a certain way. It needs to come through my business and it needs to look like this. And if things didn't pan out like that, then I was in like ego deaths and really fucking struggling and being like, something's wrong. Like, I was just missing life.
And when you're in your business, like from this place, right, just thinking about this, like you're just constantly like, every time something doesn't go your way, you're constantly analyzing like what went wrong in my energy, and it's just exhausting.
It's exhausting.
So I feel like that's like really beautiful how you said that. And for me, I feel like this surrender has been like exactly what you've said. It's like this level of getting your life back, realizing to the depths that you're not actually surrendering and that you do have attachments. But for me, it's also been this deep realization that like every single thing that like every feeling, every emotion that I'm trying to experience from an object, I have access to now.
Yeah.
And like that's been, and like it's like I've understood that, but not really understood that, because it's like why was I still looking at my reality?
That's the thing. Like we were saying those things, right? We were saying those things. I remember, like I know I've looked back at like content I've created and things like that. I'm like, I was saying the words and I was embodying to an extent.
Yeah.
But there was still such a big part of me that was like, but no, this has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? That's exactly right. Or just thinking that like that feeling is going to come from more money. That feeling is going to come from the client. You couldn't actually see that like those things. It makes sense now going through it, but like we weren't fully embodying and understanding the concept of things, your reality being a byproduct of your internal state.
Exactly.
So that was like, it's been a big one.
It's been the biggest thing. I've been calling it my spiritual awakening 2.0 because it's literally rocked our entire worlds. But because like we were having success with the other way that we were like transforming our lives. It's like we were creating things, manifesting was like, you know, we were doing things, you know what I mean? And it was just like to realize like, I don't know, it got to this point where I felt like I'm like, and when does it end?
Yeah.
Right? I was like, because it's like this goal and then this goal and then this goal. And if it doesn't look right now, I'm like, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going. I've got to keep building. And then I'm just like, I got to this point where I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, when am I ever happy? When is it ever enough?
Well, you're chasing it through the external. So it makes sense that like only those that it's like you get the thing. So it's like, if you are wounded, if you are feeling lack with money and you use getting more money to fill that void, when you get it, it either gets really amplified, you might feel good for a while, but then there's so long until you go back into a state of lack because that's your dominant vibration.
Exactly.
So it's like this constant rat race and constant chase to have these feelings of abundance, joy, happiness, when you don't actually realize that like your external reality has nothing to do with that. It's all an internal focus. And then from that place, that's when you don't have ego deaths, when you manifest and you don't have these big fuck off moments, because it's like you already feel you feel that as your dominant frequency.
You really do. And it's like such a fucking freeing place to get back to live your life from. It's like the truth of what my soul has been seeking this entire time. And I feel like I'm actually like in life and I'm receiving from each moment. Like I'm like just so much. I'm just like literally my heart is full so much of the time, because I'm just like I'm not attached to expectations. I don't think I need to be somewhere else. I'm not judging my situation. I'm just here and I'm present and I'm receiving. And then naturally, what do we know about manifestation? When you're vibrating on that plane, of course you become a match to more experiences like that match that frequency. But it's like you don't need those experiences. So as we're like having this conversation, something that came to my mind is like, because this can be so subconscious when you're so attached, like we were, right? Because it's like you don't realize that you're doing it. You don't realize that the attachment's there. So I was thinking it could be good for us to actually highlight maybe some of like the traits that we've noticed in clients and ourselves when you are operating from the attached frequency. So that like somebody could like listen to this and be like, fuck, is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh God, where do I start?
I know.
So I feel like, let's talk about like my business for a second. I feel like my business has been a good catalyst. And I feel like it's, okay, so for me, when I realized this was happening, so okay, if you've got a business and you can relate to this, whether it's online or something like that, you're always going to be aware that you have customers are a part of the equation for a business to work. But for me, like my whole energy, was so outcome. It was, look, my soul, in a soul way it wasn't, but my subconscious behaviors and patterns were so fixated on an outcome because of all the meanings and the reasons for why I needed it were there. So for me, it was like this big awakening where I realized with my business, like I would put up a post and and if I didn't get the validation, I'd go into a spiral. Or if I ran a program and I didn't get the outcome I wanted, I would go into, like, I would have emotions come up, like that need come up of like,
yeah.
So for me, it was like this big wake up call of like, I'm operating in my business from this place of trying to get something to fill something within me. And from that place, like, I wasn't in the pure love for the creation process. So for me, it was like my whole conditioning was based on getting the outcome, getting the clients, needing all that, right? Which is not the sole reason anyone should be doing a business. Yeah. It should be the love, and like the clients come as a byproduct, the money comes as a byproduct. But for me, it was like I was constantly in this up and down energy with my business. And
because you needed it.
Because I needed it. And like, whether that was from a financial perspective to pay a bill, whether that was because I wanted to see myself as more worthy, as successful, because I was like, I'm going all in with this and I need to make this work because this is what I said I'm doing. Or there was just like so many like conditions, and like my conditioning was leading me to this like needy frequency. So it was like, anytime things weren't looking like how my ego wanted them to look, I would go into a panic, or I would go, even sometimes not a panic, but I would be like let down. It's like, sometimes it's so subtle, right? It's not, it's like, it was like this energy of like, okay, if things didn't go my way, I've done something wrong. Something's wrong with this current moment. I need to fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like,
it was constant. It was like, you're good when it's there. It's like when it's there, you feel satisfied. You feel in your power. You feel like,
yeah,
good.
Like I could only get my dick up for the business when I knew like clients were there and things. And not because not even because of the money, because a lot of it was my worth was tied to the results. So it was like,
it was everything.
It was a lot of things, but mostly I felt like I'm not going to be good enough if I don't show people the results that I have, what I have. So it's like, I put my worth to my results. So of course, naturally, when you need the results to feel a certain way or to feel worthy, when you're not getting them, you're going into a spiral because you're in need. And I wasn't enjoying the creative process. Yeah. I wasn't enjoying like,
you were just so low.
I was so low.
Yeah.
And it was like that really like was like the catalyst to realizing like there is no way I'm going to be able to run this business if I'm needing anything from it, if I need it to fill a wound within me. So yeah, that was like the biggest thing I've had to work through. I mean, my relationship as well, but like the business has been such a eye-opening, because that's what it is, right? Like when you're putting your heart and soul out there, especially, and I say this in like the programs that I've run, when you're having a business where it's like your personal brand, you are your personal brand, it's like... It can be
so personal.
It can be so personal. Like, whereas when you have a product that, like me, it's about the product. Whereas when it's about you, so I feel like going in, when you have a personal brand and you think like things aren't going the way that your ego wants them, or people aren't signing up, it's so easy to make it mean something about you and like who you are. So it's like there was just so many distorted pressures on the business where... yeah, it's like this deep level of having to like cultivate that safety and that power within.
Yeah, and we're in an industry where like outside results are such a big thing that's discussed, like how much money you're making, how many clients you've got, are you booked out, are you traveling, like there's so much to compare to, particularly in the manifestation space when everything is so focused on like outward projections.
It's so focused on the outward world that it can be really easy to be like, oh, I'm not making that much money, or
something's wrong with me, something's wrong with my vibration, my limiting beliefs, and blah, 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 blah.
And you'll never enjoy the process of, because business is literally creation. Yeah. It literally is. It's like full on heart-led creation. Yeah. And so it can be really, really easy to get into this particular industry or just in business in general and lose yourself. Yeah. Compare yourself, lose yourself.
Absolutely. It really, really can. And I feel as though like that's a really important thing to be aware of, the part of you that, what's the word? The part of you that
doesn't self-source.
Yeah, it's like you're sourcing from outside of you. You're good when it's there, like particularly when you feel really fucking good, when you've got like the thing in your, or it looks like it's happening, or your vibration is on the path that would lead to that happening, and you're feeling so good. But then as soon as that vibration drops, as soon as something isn't going your way, as soon as it looks like it's been a couple of days and what you want hasn't come to fruition, it's like, then you drop your energy. If you're constantly on this up and down roller coaster, you're in attachment.
Yeah, you're so in attachment.
Another really like powerful way to recognize whether or not this is you is to notice how you respond to somebody saying to you. So if I said right now to you that there is a possibility that what you're craving right now, what you're manifesting, is actually not for you, and there's actually something better for you, but this is just the pathway to lead there, how does that make you feel? Right?
I even think like,
does that like make you want me like to punch me in the face?
Even just saying you might not get your manifestation, because like sometimes people can feel surrendered when you say like it might lead you to something better.
I didn't. I was so attached that I literally, I was like, no, shut the fuck up. I'm like, there's no other option for me.
Yeah.
I was like, it's this.
You couldn't see like,
I couldn't see something better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. Like also
even just like
considering that like you might not get it.
Yeah.
How do you fucking feel about that?
Yeah. And I do believe like when you, like, I do believe in life always providing you to be on the path, but sometimes that doesn't necessarily look how your ego wants them to.
Yeah.
Like for example, the other day, like I had a situation with my car.
Yeah.
Right? Like just using this example.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm just going to get my email up because I actually had some examples on the email, but keep going.
Yeah. Like even like, for example, the other day when I was in my car, I had a issue with my tire, right? And there was like two situations that could have happened. It could have been just like a patch fix, which was like, you know, a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Or there was like the fact that my tire could have actually been needed to get fully replaced, which could $100 or whatever, right? There was like two extreme outcomes from a financial perspective, and it ended up getting the one that cost more, right? So it's like even having to surrender to those, do you get what I'm saying? Like having to surrender to this idea that like even when you don't get what you want, or things don't always going to look how you want, but it doesn't mean it wasn't happening for you. It doesn't mean that the outcome that happened with my car and my tire wasn't for me in some capacity, even if I had to spend more money, because our ego is so conditioned to decide what we want best, to decide how life needs to look. And like when you're like this, it's just like you're constantly fighting your life, constantly fighting reality.
Yeah, I feel like that's like been the biggest thing as well for me to realize as well. I'm just like, just because something hasn't gone in the way that my ego has expected it to go, does that actually mean it didn't happen for me?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
even like through all of it, like the launches that didn't work.
Yeah, I'm like, who's to say that didn't happen for me? Like, who's to say that actually sucks? Like, it's just like, no, I'm like, I'm actually receiving so much from those moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you receive so much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get this email up because I wrote out like all the things to be aware of when you're in this attachment energy, because I just think because it's so subconscious, you aren't aware. I just want to make sure that like you walk away from this episode being like, okay, I know, like, can I identify if this is me? And then you can like do the appropriate things to actually get your like frequency back to a place of self-sourcing, and you don't actually need anything outside of you in order to be happy, full and complete. And we're going to like talk about that obviously in detail, but some of the things I wrote was when you literally spend so much time like consuming manifestation content, like you're always in this like energy of like, I need to consume, like what am I missing? So that's like a really sneaky way attachment frequency comes up, where you're just like, you're just like, you're searching for something, but you might not be like consciously doing it, but you're like searching for the missing piece, the answer that's going to put it all together. Yeah.
I was actually going to use an example that you had experienced a little bit ago, where it was like you had an intuitive hit to do like a masterclass or a program. And then there was this part where you were like, I'm not sure if it's now or later, like, is it meant to be now? But there was this part that came up, and I like identified this within you, where you're like, but I'm scared to like not hit my intuition. I'm scared to like not act on it now. Right?
That's such a good example.
Yeah. She was like telling me like, I'm scared to not like act on this intuition now, but I'm like, why? Like what does it matter if you do it now or 6 months time? And then there was this part of you like, oh, you're attached to an outcome. You think that this intuitive hit means so you're going to get something from it.
Yes.
So then you went into like a needy frequency, and I pointed out, I'm like, because who cares?
Yeah.
If you there is no mistakes. Like if you act on doing the program now, or you do it in 6 months' time, what does it matter, right?
Yeah.
But you were scared to miss out on that opportunity because your ego was like, I'm going to get something from it. I'm going to get the clients. Or what if this led to something, right? So it's like having to operate in this place of like following your intuition, following those intuitive hits, but not having any expectation of the outcome.
Yeah, that's a really good example. I remember that. Yeah. So like that's another sneaky way that the attachment frequency comes up.
And you didn't even realize in the moment.
No, I didn't realize. Just like,
no.
You had to like reflect that. I was like, what? Because it was coming from attachment frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about the periods of like sadness, frustration, anxiety, depression, all of that. Like when you don't have what you want.
Yeah, well, if you're frustrated and constantly feeling like this moment is not enough.
Yeah, that makes sense. You perceive yourself as a failure, not worthy, or not lovable if your desire doesn't manifest, right? You think something must be wrong with me because I've been trying to do everything and nothing is working, right? That's like needing another moment and being like, right now, I'm not enough as I am with what I have and what I've achieved.
Well, that's the example I gave with like the business, like needing the results, needing the outcomes to feel a certain way.
You pedestal other people who have what you want.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like looking at other people being like, they know more. Yeah. I trust them more because they have more of what I want, or they don't.
Yeah.
They really don't. Trust me. Like you think you want more money, you think you want more, all these things, but you actually don't.
You don't. When you go on social media and you see people doing what you desire to do or having what you desire to have, and your mood and vibration drops immediately, right? Like that's a subtle way that happens when you like go on social media and you start comparing yourself to other people. Like that's attachment frequency. When you have limiting beliefs, doubt, anxiety, resistance come up and you spiral out of control because you think it's fucking up your manifestation. I actually really want to talk about this because this is a big one. So while like when you're so attached, when you actually have a limiting belief come up that challenges what you want to create, you end up attaching to it and you end up spiraling about it, and you end up being like, why did that come up? And you shame yourself for it coming up because you've now associated through being in the manifestation community that this belief is going to ruin what you're creating.
Yeah.
So because that
happened to me all the time.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
Be like, I'm doing something wrong, and that's when you get that actually ties into like constantly consuming manifestation content, because it's like you think that
it
all like fuck this up, like
you
think like oh my god, when you're attached. Like a lot of the time, people think that they've got a lot of limiting beliefs problems, and I'm not denying that. Like there's gonna be
this is such a big
Then I'm not denying there's gonna be moments where it's like you genuinely have, because we have so much conditioning that there will be moments where belief plays a part into it, and you do need to explore that. But I think a lot of the time, and what I've seen, it's attachment. It's attachment to needing.
It's attachment. So many people think they have a limiting belief problem, and you can like identify this within yourself. I literally created a reel on this topic. Just look at yourself. You've been working on your limiting beliefs. Has anything actually changed for you internally?
Yeah.
Like, right? Has anything actually changed for you? And it's like, no, because you don't have a belief problem, you have an attachment problem. And this is actually something that I notice within my clients as well. Like they'd be talking to me and they're like, but I don't actually believe that. And I was like, because you don't believe that. Like you don't actually believe the patterned thought that's coming up. The problem is it's attachment. So when it comes up, you hold on to it and then you fucking dance with the ego. I was like, I joke with Nadia and we say we're like stuck in you're salsaing with your ego again. But you get
honestly,
stuck in it,
if you're like fully here for the it's true.
You get something you were manifesting, feel good for a couple of days, but then when you stop receiving, right, when you stop receiving what you want, you go straight into, what have I done wrong? Like things aren't working. What? I just got this. Or sometimes a big identifying factor, and I fucking wish I listened, and because it's like people would, I wouldn't even listen to surrender content because I'd be like, fuck off. Like I was so like,
and then as a result, like for me, I feel like, because that was my level of consciousness, the surrendered content, even just practicing within myself was very much like, it felt like a focus of just letting go of the how. It wasn't fully like
letting go of the
I wasn't just being in it, right? Because like this whole manifestation is just being open. It's just like it's just a practice of just being open to life, being open to the moment, being open to this present moment. But for me, it was like, this was going to happen, but you can just relax on like how that's going to happen. And that's not full surrender. That's not surrender.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. That's not full surrender, because you're still attaching to the outcome. And then should that outcome not happen, then it's like, oh,
yeah, well, that's like I said, you can't, like the thing that happened with my car, like it's like we have these expectations on how we think life needs to be, how we think this moment needs to be, and when it doesn't go that way, you're constantly fighting with it. And even like the content where it's like just ignore your reality, I'm like,
yeah.
Like literally. For me, like the way I was consuming it, like just ignore your reality, because like this moment doesn't mean what can happen in the next. But I'm like, bro, you're missing out on life.
Yeah, you're literally missing out on life. I'm like, what a fucking way to live.
Just just constantly be in resistance to this moment. I'm like,
literally.
Crazy.
And we fucking did that shit. We did it.
Ignore your reality.
Yeah, we were doing that.
What you're getting is still coming.
Yeah, we fucking did it. It was wild. It's wild to like now have this level of understanding.
Yeah.
And like look back at like what I used to do. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So, but so many people are still doing it, because it's like, so that's like really what like majority of the manifesting. Most of
the manifesting community teaches.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's like you get it.
Yeah, no, it's like literally what it is. But this is a big one. And I see this with a lot of people. When you actually get to the thing that you're creating, right? You get to that level of success that you were creating, and then you have something within you that's like, oh, that wasn't it. Like that didn't give me what I wanted, right? And then you go into, that's what you need to pay attention to, right? Question yourself. What were you looking for? What did you think that thing was going to get you? Because then people just attach to more after that.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like when you get more money comes in, and then you're like, oh, like I'm back to feeling scarcity, or like when's the next time I'm going to get paid, or when's the next client going to come in? It's like, no.
But not even that. Like some people actually get it, and then they go, oh, that didn't give me what I wanted. But then do you know what they do? They then think, oh, I must have been creating from my ego. So this wasn't actually created from alignment. I've seen so many spiritual people do this, where they go, I created this from my ego, so something's wrong here because this doesn't actually feel fulfilling. So then they like burn everything to the ground and then recreate it again, thinking that they're creating from their intuition, but they're creating from attachment, right? It's not that it's like what you...
it's still this focus on thinking the outside world's going to give you something.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
It's like, so many people are in those situations where they're creating something, they're happy in it, and they're like, oh my God, and then something within them doesn't feel fulfilled, and they're like, oh, this wasn't actually what I wanted. It must be that I wasn't following my intuition. Let me go back to the drawing board. They burn it down. I've done this. This has been me. I've literally done this, and I'm creating from literally attachment. You know what I mean? So wild. What else? If you are after success and money, you often think about how the money will make everyone in your life so much happier and less stressed. Oh my God, that's another way. Like,
you think money is going to make you less stressed. It's like that's a pedestal.
But I've seen a lot of successful people do this. When they talk about their desires, they go, okay, what do you want? They're like, I want to be able to like retire my family and like spoil them with these things and blah blah blah. It sounds like a beautiful thing, but where is it coming from? You think that those things are going to make the people in your life happy, right? And it's like, again, it's pedestaling this thing that comes outside of yourself. It's like disempowering people in your life, thinking that they can't get those feelings without the money and things like that.
Right? Because then it's like, it was like, reminds me of, can I just bring up this, or do you want to go?
No, go.
Like Sam, who's like Simplifying Sam. She's like a big TikToker. She's really, really deep on surrender. I love her so much. She went to Bali, and she was actually like, met this guy in Bali, and because Bali is like more of a poorer country, she asked him like what's the key to happiness, like what's the key to happiness, and he's like,
a key to happy life, right?
Key to happy life. And he's like, oh, I don't understand, like he couldn't understand, like an accent thing was a bit of an issue, but he's like, I just don't understand your question. And so she's like, what makes you happy? And he goes, life is already like, I'm already happy, like he's
like, what do you mean what makes a happy life?
So it
like life's already good.
Life's already good.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by like what makes a happy life? It is a happy life, like not circumstantial of this moment of what I have, what I think. So it's like, and you think about like America and Australia, where like we're really fed this illusion, like this, our capitalist brain, as like Sam says, is very conditioned to think that more is going to make you happy. So it's like, if you're going to want to create the life of your dreams, it's not going to come from this place of it's going to have to be an internal
well,
feeling.
We have the most like unhappy people in the world.
Wow, and we
like
have
the
more, so
richest
doesn't it make
countries.
sense that it doesn't matter how much you have, like it's not going to make
the evidence is right in front of us. Literally.
More doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make you feel safer. It doesn't make you more secure. Like you have access to feeling that. Like if you believe in abundance, if you believe in the life supporting you non-circumstantially, like in every moment, then why do you need more money to feel safe? Why do you need more X, Y, and Z to feel a certain way?
You actually don't need any of it. And the thing is, like, the biggest thing that happens when you attach to like this thing, like money, the relationship, the job, the career, whatever it is, right? The clients, the success, when you attach, even traveling, when you attach to these things and you think that this is going to bring you your happiness, right? This is going to make you feel safe, secure. It is absolutely not, because what's going to happen in the presence of your desires, you are just going to feel more of who you are at the core. So if you are a person who is scared that money is going to run out, more money is going to amplify your scarcity wounds, right? Same thing with a relationship. If you need a relationship to feel lovable, being in that relationship is going to highlight all of the parts of yourself that you don't love, and it's just going to be amplified through that relationship.
Yeah.
The thing does not bring you the thing, right? So it's like this often leads to people calling things into their life and then burning it down to the ground, right? Because it's like it's highlighting who they actually are at the core.
Yeah.
Right? Because you are in this illusion of thinking that this external thing is going to bring you the things.
Yeah.
But it is not. Like, what you need to understand with this whole game, which is what you've been like touching on through this episode, is that this is about, this whole manifestation thing is actually about you being open to life. It's actually not about creating an idea of the future that you have in your mind.
Yeah.
Right? So what do we actually mean by this? So
how do you live your life? Like, so they're like, okay, so I get to this point, and I have done a free riff on it if you want to like get it. It's called like Breaking Free from Attachment. It was like a 10-minute riff on this, where because a lot of people, I feel like the golden question is, okay, but if I don't need anything, well, how do I still be in the frequency of wanting something, right?
Yeah, and that was the thing that we struggled to understand when we were like really diving into this.
Yeah, right.
I was like, how do you create then? How do you participate in life if I don't need anything outside of me?
Yeah, and it's really this energy of like, for me, it feels like if things are going to manifest, they're definitely going to be a byproduct of, it's not about renouncing. Mm-hmm. It's not about saying that like, okay, that means that I don't want, like, that I can't have more money, or I can't go traveling, or like whatever. But it is like this energy of like, you genuinely don't need it. Like you genuinely don't, like you're happy in this moment, and it's this energy of like, if it's going to manifest, it's going to feel like a preference. Yeah. It's going to feel like, oh, like cool, like I'm going on a holiday, or a holiday's manifested, or maybe you get the intuitive feeling to like, oh, I want to go visit this place, and you do because you have the resources available to you, and it feels like a preference, but not a reason for your living.
Yeah. So the best way to think about it is, and this is something that Michael Singer says, if you haven't heard of Michael Singer, definitely check out his stuff, because it's all about surrender and living your life this way. I fucking love him. So he wrote like the book, Living Untethered, The Untethered Soul, that's the popular one, and The Surrender Experiment. Yeah, really, really good. So he says this, because people often ask him this question, and I just think this is like such a good way to explain it. He goes, when you are full with so much love in this now moment, and this isn't something I couldn't understand this until I practiced it.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're so full in this now moment and you're receiving, like this is a real big presence conversation, right? And you're really here in this moment and you're receiving everything that this right now moment has to give to you. You're so full. You're not projecting onto the future and what the future should be. You're just here and you're just receiving, and you're just in the experience. What happens is when you're so full of love and you're so full of appreciation and gratitude, you naturally want to create and give, right? You naturally want to share that energy, and you want to do things. You want to participate in life. So it's not about like attach, like doing things to get an outcome. It's like right now, if you have a desire to do a business, for example, right, you have like this topic that you want to share on, it's not attaching to the outcome of what you think should happen from you doing this. It's about you committing yourself and giving your all to this now moment and what this now moment is asking of you, which is like the message that you have to share, right?
Yeah.
You focus on that love, and you just like, you give your all to that creation process. Detaching from what you actually think should happen.
Yeah, and I think like being able to create in that space, like being able to show up in your business for the love of it, because you feel excited by what someone's saying or what's coming through you, and you don't have these wounds of like needing it to be validated, needing it for the client, needing it blah blah blah. When you don't actually have those attachments, then going up on social media to create content, going to sell your offers, right? Because like going to do those things, don't feel, there's no fucked up resistance, and you're actually happy doing it because you're like doing it for the love of it. And it's like, cool, these things can happen. If clients come into my world, yes, that's amazing, because like I love working with clients. I love doing those things, but fully being in a frequency of like just following, like right now doing this podcast.
Yeah.
If no people listen, great, because I'm enjoying having this conversation with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course I know that people can listen, and I hope this helps someone, and I hope this does that. But if not, then I'm gonna be okay. And it's like, that's
because you do it for the love of the actual activity, right? It's like, we just love doing this. It means nothing else other than we just enjoy having these conversations, and we just enjoy creating this platform. Like, that's it.
And if you want to come into our world, and if you want to be coached by us, if you want to apply those things, then great, like amazing.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, let's do it. But it's like, it's just really just realizing that like, and there is nothing outside of you that is going to bring you anything. You don't need anything outside of you.
Yeah. And that can be an uncomfortable thing to like have a conversation about. I feel like particularly when you're like an entrepreneur and you're like creating things, you know what I mean? Like you have a business and things like that, but it really is just not about any of that.
Yeah.
It just isn't. You can think that it is, but it's like, the way that I see it is like, it's a byproduct energy. So like, I'm like, of course, naturally, as I like give myself to this, of course, like byproduct, like naturally it's going to result in people who want to receive it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, if it doesn't, then I'm learning something. I'm still receiving from that situation, because what am I learning? Like, does it trigger something within me? Does it trigger, like, is it giving me an opportunity to deepen into myself, right? Like, whatever the fuck, it feels like the way that I live my life now is just like this divine dance with the universe, where I'm like, I'm so open for life to show me the way.
Yeah.
Because I don't fucking know. I don't actually know.
I'm supposed to do. Show me what I'm here to be.
I don't actually know. I'm like, well, I'm creating based on my own understanding, my life experiences, what I've been taught. I was like, I don't fucking know how good this could get.
Yeah.
I don't know where I could go. I don't know is this the actual like the be all and end all for me? Do you know what I mean? Is this the path for me? I don't know.
I do have a question that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this comes up a lot for people. A lot of the time when they hear, they're like, I don't need this, they go into their actual needs, like, but I need the money. What about like, I need food to survive, I need water to survive, I need all of that.
The way that I see it is that those things will always be provided.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I honestly do, because I feel like there's no way you can get out of need without having this abundant understanding that life is always supporting you.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. Like, it's like, I feel like this is a big conversation that comes with money, right? It's like, but I need money in order to pay my bills and blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
obviously.
Yeah, obviously. And it's like, but the way that I see it is that there are so many other pathways other than money for something to come into your experience, right?
Well, you just had like a gift voucher, like just randomly there for your groceries. You didn't technically need anything, you know what I mean?
Always.
Yes, that is money.
I'm literally always receiving things from not money.
Yeah,
literally.
like for example, like, and I think people get that. I feel like people understand that, but like it's just this fundamental belief that of course your and I do believe your needs are always going to be met, and I just believe
I genuinely believe that. Like, I feel like I really found, like, I saw that in Bali, because it is such a like poor country. That was something that I realized. I was like, I was looking at these, like, a practice I was doing in Bali was really seeing people in their power despite like money and circumstance. Like, I was just like, can I still see people in their power just because they don't have like what I have at home or whatever? But
understanding abundance beyond having more.
Something that I saw was like, they have so much in terms of like the land gives them so much. Like the land gives them like so much fruit. Like it's just constantly bearing fruit because of the like the climate there.
Yeah.
So I just saw that. I was just like, wow, I'm like, they're so supported. Like they've got so much like that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
they
I
have
was just like,
there's always ways. And sometimes like even if the money like, and the best question to ask yourself this is like something I used to tell myself is like, have I ever, like even if it didn't work out, even if the money didn't show up to pay that bill, are you okay now?
Yeah.
So it had to
like,
it always worked itself out. Like, were you okay? Did it work itself out?
Yeah.
Did you, you know?
Yeah.
So there's just this knowing that life is like always going to support. And it's like the way I see it.
And we don't say this, sorry, can I just explain this? Because we don't say this from not an experience. Like I've actually been in a situation where I've saved all of my savings, have nothing to my name, literally $0. And I wasn't booking clients. I was like making $0
you're
months.
literally in a situation like, oh, it's got to get sorted out.
Actually explaining a situation of need. Like this isn't like a situation of you know
have.
Yeah, we've both been in that situation. So when we like say this, we say it from genuine experience.
Yeah. It will sort itself out.
It will sort itself out. It always does.
Yeah.
It
Whether
finds
it's
a way
a job
to come
that
in.
comes in,
Yeah.
something will fucking happen. Even if it's somehow the bill doesn't need to get paid anymore.
And that's the beautiful thing that I've learned through living my life this way.
Yeah.
I've learned that I am supported. I'm like, I actually don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
like when I started to embody this, I was like, oh my God, like something that you said earlier today was like, I'm noticing that like money just comes in even before I need it.
I don't even, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
It's it's like constantly supported. It's constantly there. And when I was living my life so full in this like now moment, what happens is it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm getting like opportunities to go on people's podcasts. So it's like these things are just happening.
Yeah.
Clients are just coming, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's just happening and I don't have to force it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying.
And the way I like to think about it is because a lot of people, when they get to this thing with money and like, I think that's the biggest issue of why people can't crack into more abundance is because of need. But like the thing like you need to think about is like we treat money so differently. Like we're so conditioned to treat money so differently. But like the other things that, you know, you need, like as in water, like you don't wake up going like, am I going to have water today? Am I, you know, those basic necessities, there is so much, like, am I going to breathe? Like, am I going to have oxygen today? Those things you need, but you are just so conditioned to know that they're always going to be there. And money should be no different in those, money is one way, right? So it's like, if the path needs to be money to pay that bill or to pay for your mortgage, to pay for your rent, it will be, and it will show up. But I guess it's just like looking at all the other needs and how much you don't question that. So why would the path of money be any different?
Yeah.
If that's the path in which it needs to get
That's
paid.
what we were talking about like not long ago. We were just like, money is a need in our society. Like, right? It's like we need money to participate in things. So exactly right. Like if it's become a necessity, then no shit, it's going to be a part of the experience.
Or if that's going to be the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
Right? Because I could have someone that comes and pays off my mortgage. I could win the lotto tomorrow and it pays off my mortgage.
That's exactly
There's
right.
There's so many ways in which something can happen.
Or likewise, you could not be able to pay off the mortgage and it could lead to you losing the house.
And selling.
But that is still happening for you. Like, it's just like trusting the dance of life. Like, the way that I see it is if something like tragic like that were to happen, you know what I mean, where you didn't have the money and you had to like lose it. Well, not tragic, but you know what I mean? Like something big like that.
I just believe that would be happening for me.
But it is happening for you. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, if it's highlighting all of these parts of you that are like, you know, coming up, it's like, that's perfect because they're actually parts of you that are your shadows, right? Where you give power outside of you. Maybe you have stories come up and that's a perfect opportunity for you to see that part of you and to heal it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To overcome that, to grow from that.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Love
that's a gift from that situation.
Yeah.
So I feel like it goes both ways. You know what I mean? It's like, can you trust exactly what's unfolding and trust the dance of life?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I know it's like easier said than done, but like this has been the biggest thing, the hardest thing for me to get on board with. I feel it's like, well, what happens if something bad happens? And I really saw it through the lens of it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, but think about all those times when people lost their job in COVID. Like, how many stories did you hear? Like, thank fuck that happened. So like, why would that be? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, thank fuck that happened because
I've had so much shit throughout my life where it's been like hard shit that I've gone through, but it's been like the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's like the best thing
But
that's
I've
ever
been
happened.
like in a brace position scared still because I'm like, I don't want it to keep happening.
Because there wasn't this fundamental belief that like, what was the next step was for you.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. But have you ever really had an experience where it would have been tough to go through, but you didn't gain something from it?
Never.
Or that you were in a better situation?
Never. Literally everything that I've ever gone through, that's what was so wild to me. Because it's like, I could see that. I was like, but everything I've gone through has been for the, like, benefit.
Even those moments where the money, like, didn't show up for me, it was, like, this experience of, like, being able to see that, like, oh, I'm so supported.
Yeah.
And, like...
And that you don't need it. You're actually fine.
And that's, like, healed so much of my anxiety. Like, how can you, like, there's so much to gain from what that experience gave me.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But I feel like for so long I was saying that, but I did genuinely actually feel it.
Yeah. I feel like I pick and chose what I wanted to believe it with.
Yeah. Oh, I pick and chose.
I fully felt it with, like, that moment where I was at my, like, the end, where it was, like, I ran out of money and, like, that. I saw it. It still came up because it's my conditioning. But it was, like, certain things I was, like, willing to hear it for. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that experience really gave me a lot. But, like, if something bad happened in something else, it was, like...
Yeah. Literally. I feel like it's like when things aren't going your way, really taking a moment to be like, fuck, is this happening for me? Or is this, like, how is this happening for me? Not like, oh...
Sometimes you don't know how it's happening for you. You'll never know.
Moment.
Like, because it's, like, yesterday, like I told you the other day, that happened with my car. Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't... No, I could have died, like, you know.
Yeah, I could have died, like, driving my car with the tire and things like that.
Yeah, literally. 100%. So it was, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I feel like this is just such a fucking important conversation to have in regards to, like, getting your life back and with, like, the manifesting process. And it does differ from, like, what we used to teach and how we used to be, but
I think there's steps. I feel like, you know,
I feel like that made sense from where we were at the time.
Yeah, because you know I think there's, like, a moment where sometimes people need to go through this place of, like, you know, when they're in this shithole, like when we started feeling like we had all these limiting beliefs and things like that.
We just didn't think things were possible.
So being in this state of, like, I can create my reality is, like, perfect. And then sometimes, like, you go to that step further of, like, surrender, which is what we're talking about now, like, creating through, like, life creating with you. And, you know, so it's like, I think they're perfect in how it is. I feel like it's just a deepening of surrender.
It is. Something else I want to add on in regards to, like, life creating through you, the way that I see it is that the universe, and I've, like, done readings on people, I've connected with spirit guides, higher selves, all of the things, and it all came back to one thing. And this was, like, the one thing that I always said, even when I did readings, I was like, they're all just projections of, like, how I'm understanding it. I was like, the spirit guides, the higher self, all of it. I was like, but it all comes down to one source, right? The universe, you, right? Yeah. You are the universe. Yeah. You are your higher self, right? It's just, like, it's all you.
Yeah.
So the way I see it is, like, why wouldn't I trust my intuition, which is me, this higher, like, my higher self, the universe, which is me, to give me the experiences that I know that I need to have in order to grow in this life? Like, what makes me think...
exactly right.
Like, what makes me think that I need to control what that looks like?
Yeah, it's actually crazy because it's like, then, you know, then you don't really believe that, like, what's for you won't pass you.
Exactly.
You don't believe it.
No, you don't.
If you're in this state of, like, trying to create, you fully don't. That's why you can't fully let go as well. That's why people can't let go, because they feel when they let go, like, fully let go, that it's not going to happen. Yes, there's attachment to that, but also, like, taking it a step further, that, like, if it's for you, it will be for you.
It will happen.
It will happen.
It's like, that's what you say, right? What will be for you won't pass you by.
It fucking won't, though. Yeah. Like, it actually won't.
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
So do I. I, like, 1000% believe it with my whole soul and, like, my whole being. Because the way that I see it is that there are infinite pathways that are available. And when I've been trusting this voice in the past, like, throughout my life, I'm like, the way that things have unfolded have gone beyond what I can even imagine. Do you know what I mean? Like, my paths to certain things, like my path to creating this business and to leaving the job and things like that, I couldn't have orchestrated that. I wasn't even trying.
Yeah, you weren't even trying.
I wasn't trying to make any of it happen.
Well, none of us have tried, you know?
No, like, but when I got into the business, that's when I started to try, and it was different, right?
It was harder.
But when I was at that point, I had nothing to lose. I was in a job I didn't like, so I was just like, fuck it, whatever. Like, I'm like going to do whatever the fuck I want. I was creating YouTube videos. I was just like, I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, and then it led, and then it led to this, and I was like, fuck, I really enjoy this. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it was like, within 6 months of doing that, just following this voice, it like got me to this outcome that I thought would take me years to get to. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, it's just the voice, your intuition, it just knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
And another like really like, I feel like this is like the last thing that I want to touch on, unless like you have anything else you want to add. Another really like powerful way to really understand these principles and embody these principles is understanding death. And I feel like this is something that Michael Singer gave me, and it's like something I really contemplate every single day. Like, I honestly do this every day because of how much it has transformed my way of thinking and transformed like my level of attachment, and it has helped me be in this moment and fully love being in this moment.
Yeah.
So this is why I want to talk about it. If like you're just like, what the fuck, like, you know, like this is like challenging you, I want you to contemplate the concept of death for a second. Death is so inevitable. I want you to really hear me when I say that, because I feel like so many people like avoid the topic of death. They think it's far away, and it's like, it's not. It's actually not.
Yeah.
People have died filming a podcast. People have died like just taking a breath. Do you know what I mean? Like, people have died doing everything, sipping a tea. Like, people have just died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, within the blink of an eye, you could literally die.
Yeah.
This could be your last moment on earth. And like,
you're in a future moment.
What makes you think to like, like project onto the future and be like, well, the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. And it's just like, dude, like,
there is no other future.
There is no other moment other than this moment.
Never the future.
There's never the future.
It's actually an illusion.
It's an illusion.
It's such an illusion. How creepy is it? But the future is genuinely...
None of it exists.
So you're spending all your time thinking about 6 months' time, 12 months' time, what's life going to look like in 12 months, getting to a better place. And it's like, wow, you could just be in this moment and get those feelings now.
Or you could literally die.
You could die.
You could die, and then you never make it to that moment. And then you go to God, and at the end, and you're like, fuck, like, send me back. I'd like, you know, I didn't experience those things. And then God's going to be like to you, this is from somewhere. I don't know where it is, but somebody remind me where this is from. But then God goes back to you, and it's like, but I gave you all this time. I gave you all this time. I gave you all this time to be in those emotions, to experience those things, and you didn't choose it.
Yeah.
So it's just a really like humbling way of fucking thinking, where you're just like, oh, okay, I get it. I hear you. Like, I don't know, like, actually do that. Like, think about the inevitability of death and get off your high horse of thinking death is far away, because it's not. Like,
it really isn't.
Like, shit happens fast. Like, time goes by like that. And then also you can die right fucking now. People do all the time. There are so many people dying right now. Like, it's just like, what are you doing with this moment? Think about that. Contemplate that.
No, this is literally like Kim Kardashian in the ocean with her diamond earring. People are out there dying.
It is the scene. It's everyone in the manifestation space. We're all doing that right now.
Yeah,
like, we're just like,
people could be. What is it like?
Well, Courtney says people are dying, Kim.
Yeah. It's like, it's literally that. It's literally that. Like, come on.
Literally, and it's just about like, I feel like the biggest thing is just like, it's like, not that you don't get to experience things like that. It's like, if they're a part of your path, great, amazing. Like, you know, it's like you being open to possibility. You understand that is a possibility because you have been in the manifestation space. It's like, you know, anything is possible, and like, give yourself to whatever is presenting in your reality right now, no matter what it looks like. Learn from it. Give your entire self to it. Deepen into like your personal power from it. If it's challenging you, receive from this moment, because it is giving you so much. And when you actually live your life from this surrendered state of being, where you don't need anything outside of you in order to make you happy, whole, and complete, like, genuinely, you've got your life back. You've got your life back, and that's when you actually start fucking living. That's when you're genuinely like living life, and you're receiving from life, and you're going to see, first of all, just how supported you are by doing things like that, and then also how you genuinely don't actually need anything outside of you, and you never, like, you're no longer going to be living from this like sad place of like, I need to get there and I'm not there and why aren't I there and I should be there and blah, blah, blah. It's like none of that. It's like, I'm so happy, so whole and complete here. Yeah. And that's what we all want.
Honestly.
That's what we want.
We want that.
Literally.
Love it.
And you get to actually live your life like that. This isn't just like a fun conversation of like a nice, this is a nice thing to contemplate. Like this should be something that you practice every single day.
This is the answer you're looking for. I
this
promise
is
you.
the
It's
answer.
like anything else, it's not out there. I promise you.
No, it's like a complete waste of your time. I'm like, if there's anything that you fucking do, it's that you take this seriously because, like I said, it's like getting your life back.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, on that morbid note,
no.
Remember, you can die tomorrow.
But no,
I need to eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah. But thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you loved it.
Yes.
As always, please don't forget to rate and review us on Apple or Spotify. We appreciate it. We love to hear your feedback as well. Like, follow us if you follow us on Instagram. Let us know, or YouTube. Let us know in the comments or DM us how you found this episode, because we just love to hear how you're finding it.
Yeah, your takeaways, all of the things. We're obsessed with conversations like this, so honestly, know that that's all open and welcome. So yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Sandwich.